going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Marc and Coco podcast. It's been a long year. We're back, baby. We're back. What's going on, Coco?
Well, it's cold and windy. No, it's the wind that's getting me.
It's starting already.
It's the wind. It doesn't matter where you are when that cold wind hits you. Come on now. That ain't fun for nobody.
Say that again. No matter where you are.
Is it windy where you are?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you ever been to Chicago in the wintertime?
Yes, sadly.
Man.
I was angry the entire time.
Yeah, it just
cold
makes you mad.
Around heat. I don't know
you
how they
walk
do
around.
it there.
You're not walking around with your fist balled up because it's cold. You're walking around with your fist balled up because you're mad because it's cold. Another little Coca Cola. They ain't paying us, but you know, I'm always gonna drink some Georgia champagne.
Yeah, I haven't had it in a while. I don't enjoy it at all.
I drink too much of it. I need to stop.
Yes, you do, because it's killing you from the inside out slowly. Sorry, Coca Cola, but the truth is the truth.
Aren't you a bright light of sunshine?
That's what I do. I talk. That's part of my job. I mean, what do I look like running around drinking Coca-Cola? Or like, let's not talk about Coca-Cola. I have no problem with people drinking what they want to drink. But you just have to be careful with consuming it in excess. It's all about moderation.
Yeah.
But most people can't moderately drink certain things like that because it's addictive.
Yeah. I mean, mom was addicted for a long time.
I know I was addicted. I would wake up and have a bottle of Coca-Cola, and I never finished it because I just like that first hit where it burns and you get that good burp.
Yeah.
And then after that, I didn't want it. But then I would have like several Cokes throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I would never finish them.
I don't know what makes Coke so addictive. I think it's because
it's the
your
sugar.
brain. No, I mean, because
it's the sugar. It's the dopamine release that from drinking that much sugar. It feels good.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other products like that, like the orange soda. I'm not gonna say the name, but the orange soda. I love that too, but I don't crave it like I do Coke.
But see, I know some people that love them some good orange soda though, or grape soda, or even the like Pepsi. I think it's a matter of what your personal taste preference is. It's the sugar. Like it has been proven that it's the sugar.
I don't know. I think it's because the taste, your brain can't figure out what's going on with it. Because I mean, it's got like everything in it.
It's got things in it that you're like, why?
Acidy. Yeah, it's acidy, it's sweet, it's sour. It's kind of like, it hits like every note.
It should be everything that you shouldn't crave.
Right, and your brain's like, what is this?
I know, because you crave that good burn, right? That good burn. Yeah. That's not normal.
No, it's not. I think that's why it's addictive. Your brain's trying to figure out what's going on with it.
It's like, let's take another hit. Let's process that again. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a new sensation. It's just like, no, it's the same. But anyway.
Yeah. So what you got going on for us, Coco?
So today it is officially February.
Yep.
Welcome to the Acknowledgment of Black People in America month.
Yep.
So, yay!
Yay! It's Black History Month every month around here. So
it's Black History Month every day.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up, I have reminders. Hey, you're Black.
Yep.
Don't forget you're Black. Like, excuse me, did you know you're Black?
Yeah. Oh, it's you.
Oh man.
I had a lady, and this is I had a job. It was a retail store, and I was with my boss, and this lady came up. This white lady came up and was asking about something. I can't remember what. And she said, "Well, don't you remember I talked to you yesterday?" I was like, "No, ma'am, I wasn't here yesterday."
Oh no.
And
Oh
she was like,
no.
"You know where this is going."
No.
And
Sadly.
she was like, well, you wanted them.
What?
Yeah, she's like, you wanted them. And I just finished answering a question or whatever. Because my boss was right there. And then when she left, I looked at my boss, and my boss was white. And my boss was like, man, I have never seen that like that up close and personal in my face. He's like, that is messed up. He's like, do you deal with that stuff like all the time? I was like, yeah, you'd be amazed because most racism is microaggressions, right?
Right.
They're real small little things, little keywords, phrases, stuff like that. Looks, the way somebody moves, like clutch your purse, closing, locking your doors, or not leaving the door open for you when you walk through behind them. But it's just small microaggressions, like all the time. Like yeah, so yeah, it happens like a lot. I'd say at least once a day. If I have interactions with people, I come across something like this, and he was utterly shocked. He just couldn't believe it. I mean,
Mm.
he still talks about it to this day.
So does he? It's all well and good to be like, man, that was messed up, but it's another thing to be like, excuse me, what you said was inappropriate.
Yeah,
Because I think
yeah,
that's what you need is you need people to speak up when it's happening.
yeah. But I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, that's not going to happen
Sometimes it
because
does.
no,
Well,
because most people don't.
I think for me it has to happen in order for me to be friends with someone that's white. So if you're like my friend and you're white, like we I have to know for sure that you'll stand up for me because we're going to have those situations, and I've had those with
Yeah,
all of my white friends that I have. And like my one friend Donna, we were somewhere and this lady did something, and see, it goes back to the fact that you kind of get so numb to things as well, so you're able to just kind of, it's like a coping mechanism. It's still not right, but
yeah.
she went off on the lady and she was like, what is wrong with you? And she was like, I need to talk to a manager. I was just like, can you just calm down? Like,
Yeah,
calm
because we're
down.
used
But
to it. Yeah, because
I
we're used
I
to it.
appreciate the fact that she recognized it and she was appalled, and she was like, no, this, you're not gonna talk to my friend like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have some white friends like I'll meet their parents or something, and their parents will say some just like some racial shit like as a joke,
Yes.
and I'm like, that's dude, I just met you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like a litmus test. Like let's see how much you know how much I can get away from the start. That'll tell me where he's at. Like
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
is he one of those angry black folks, or is he one of those subordinate black folks? Like it's generally older people. They do that like all the time, and and us being black, we kind of learn like in the South, old folks like that. Like he's just old. That's old school, whatever. But honestly, when it comes out to it, it's just we just know there's no change in their mind because they live with it their whole life.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well,
so it's
I
hard. It's
understand that.
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for a young black person to change the mind of an older white person who's basically been indoctrinated in this belief system their whole life.
Yeah, that's a
I mean,
hard thing.
yeah,
That's
it's gonna take something. Yeah, because
undertaking to
yeah,
reprogram someone's thoughts and views.
it's
So
hard. Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. Like like on Facebook, I see this video. I don't know if you saw it, but this video of these kids attacking this car in New York City.
I
Did you
think
see
I
that
heard
yet?
about it. I didn't see it.
With the little kids on bikes. So from what I read,
We should watch that and have a reaction to it.
oh yeah, I mean it's not cool. I mean you could tell kids were not thugs. That you say, oh, they're thugs. No, the way they were attacking the car, you're like, yeah, you know, you a badass kid, yeah. And you're doing something that you think you're gonna get away with, yeah. But and I think one of them already got arrested, so the rest of them gonna get arrested here shortly. But they keep showing this, and this happened in New York, and people keep showing this, and most of it is white people that keep showing it. Now I think the driver of the car, I believe, was uh, Korean or I don't know what nationality they are, Pan Asian. Um, so they weren't white people that were in the car, I don't think. But this is, media. There's different takes out. So, but what struck me was that how white people will get like one bad thing
Yeah.
and
And
then just like
everybody loses.
amplify it, and then they start making cracks about, well, this is what Biden does, and blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. Like, man, that has nothing to do with the other, man.
Yeah,
Badass
'cause
kid is badass kid.
you got bad kids on both
'Cause-
sides.
right? Because I tell you right now, the most dangerous thing in the world right now is a 14 to 16-year-old white boy. That's the most dangerous thing in the world right now.
Yeah, they get an
And
automatic pass.
damn, hands down. I see little white boys and they wilding out. Nah, player, I'm going to the other side of the street. I want no part of it.
Right, because I mean, like you've seen it time and time again where you could see that they're like breaking into a house and you call
Yeah,
911 and the police will come up and be like, "Sir, what are you doing here?" It's like, "I called the police." That kid right there that you are helping out of the window and holding the TV that he is stolen out of that house is
yeah.
the one you need to be talking
Need to
to,
be
not
talking to.
me. Like you've seen scenarios like that. It's just
Yeah, there's plenty of videos like that where the person calls and the police come and starts interrogating them, and they're like, "Hey, I'm the one who called you, man.
right. Right.
Why
It's just
you
like,
why
what
you
is wrong
interrogating
with this
me?" They're like, "Man,
scenario?
you need to calm down. Like, why you call? I called you. Why you over here harassing me? The man right there. That's the man right there. You need to talk to." And finally, the cops will go over there and they got the hand on the hip and like, "What's going on?" Like,
I know, giving them a
like,
pep talk, son. Is this the best use of your time? And it's like, let it be someone with just
yeah,
a little drop of melanin in their skin, and they're like body slamming them down and taking the TV, hitting it over their head. It's just like,
yeah. Because
come
I mean,
on.
like I see a lot of these videos of like security officers at the school slamming kids,
Yeah, I just saw the
you
one
know,
of the
and they're
girl
all
in
black.
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all black, and most of them are black females,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, you can't tell me that she's running roughshod over the whole school. Ain't no way. I know for a fact there's a pack of white boys just running roughshod over that school, doing what the hell they want to do.
Well, probably not, because there's probably not any white kids in the school because most
No,
schools don't have those
no,
resource officers. I never went to school with a resource officer. Did you? Okay, granted, I never went to like uh
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
I primarily my school was military kids, so
Yeah.
we don't have really had that problem. But
I was
I
usually
mean,
the black, like the black girl
man,
that spoke for that represented all the black people. It's like, Nicole's
so
here.
let's get it straight. So they call it resource officers now, but the security police that are at schools are not there to protect the kids,
Why are they there?
to protect the teachers. So let's get
Do
it
the
straight.
teachers need protection?
Yeah, they're there to protect the teachers. Then
But why do the
see,
teachers need protection?
because why do you think?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, could it be that most of them are Caucasian?
Oh, really?
You
So
know,
why do they feel that these Caucasian teachers need to be protected from the black students? Is there really a true threat?
that's that's the perception. I mean, like there's some schools around here, and let's for example, before all the school shootings happened, now every school basically has a resource officer. Okay, so a lot of people say, well, there's a resource officer at every school. Yeah, that's when all these uh, kids were shooting up the schools. So now, and they
Yeah,
weren't
but
poor
what
schools.
schools were they shooting up though?
Exactly. These were prominent schools. These were schools that had mostly white kids. Okay. These, it wasn't. None of this was happening in Dunbar High
But you know
School.
what happened? But see, this is something I think we should talk about, and I'll let you continue your point. Um, because me and my friends we talked a lot about this. We don't usually try to fight in school. It's usually like outside of school.
After
You
school,
usually
yeah,
get them
it's
when they're
always after
outside
school.
of school, not
And,
in the
and
school.
part of the reason why is because you don't want your butt kicked by your mama.
That too. And
Yeah,
second, you have a specific target. You're not trying to cause mass casualty.
no, no, you
It's
got a
like,
problem
no,
with one.
I'm here for so and so.
Yeah, you.
You I'm gonna get you like meet me outside,
Yep.
Um
And generally off school grounds.
yeah. But that
Generally
is
off
that
school
is
grounds.
true because you mama or grandmama,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
auntie, like, no.
yeah. Now most of the kids. I mean, kids as a whole are just trying to figure out the pecking order of where they fit in society because they don't know. So they're trying to figure it out. So most kids take whatever the favorite rap artist or movie or something like that. They take that and try to apply that to the real world. So that's why you got a whole bunch of them running around acting like they're little gangsters. But the funny thing is that most of these kids, especially black kids, don't have guns. They don't have weapons. They might get their hands on a BB gun or something like that, but no. Most kids that have guns are these white kids because their parents got guns.
Their parents have like a full on cabinet of guns.
Yeah,
I have my own views on guns and what have you, but
yeah.
it's
I mean,
just
my thing.
the differences are they're just so distinctly different.
Yeah, I mean, if you now, I mean, I collect things. Everybody collects something. Now, if your thing is that you collect guns and you say, hey, hey, Mark, I collect guns. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then you should have a full spectrum of guns.
You would think, yes.
You would think. Not have the same weapon, like an AR, have the same model, have 20 of them with different specs and stuff like that. That's not collecting, buddy.
Well, in
So
their
what
mind,
you
it is.
it is,
They
but see
collect
the problem, they don't understand. They have taken the bait. They believe that people are coming for your guns, and they not.
it clearly because they
Nobody's gonna
still have
come
their
for your
guns.
guns.
Nobody wants
If
them.
if you are not a kid, if you have your mental capacity,
Mm,
right?
mm.
If you're not something wrong with you in the head, then you can get a gun.
I don't know
Simple as
about
that.
that last part because I know a lot of people. I feel like based
Oh
on
no, no, no! Right now, no, that law is very very weak right now. But
yes,
what I'm saying, as long as you have
but that's what
mental
they
wisdom
claim
about
on the
you,
books. Yeah,
right,
mhm.
and you're an adult, you can get a gun. That you might have to wait a week or whatever like that, but you can get a gun. Unless in most states, um, you can buy a what they call even like a rifle, which an AR would fall under in a lot of states. You can get it the same day you go in and apply for it. And a lot of guns, a lot of states, you don't you're not required to have a license. Most states, if in order to have a license, it's to carry, and then some is carry and conceal. But in most states, if you just want to get a handgun to keep in the house to protect your house, you don't need a license for it. Like here in Indiana, you don't need a license for a gun.
That doesn't make
Only,
sense.
yeah, only if you want to carry and conceal it.
I think everyone should have a license because that's a deadly. Like you have to have a license to operate a car,
Well, let's not get into
a boat.
let's not get into the government trying to make money.
Well, I know. So I know we got
Most of
completely
that
off
stuff's
the
stupid.
tangent of talking about resource officers in school. So I want to get back to that.
Okay. So, but I mean, when I see these videos, they're all like slamming young black girls. And you can't tell me that a young white girl isn't going to act the same way when a man is manhandling. I mean,
Right.
come on. Now, I know for a fact that, don't get twisted. Now, I know that some of these girls are trying to act black because they're trying to get out of the situation. Like, don't put your hands on me. You know what I'm saying? So they try to put up that false bravado. No, what I'm trying to say is they play into stereotype in order to avoid getting manhandled, getting arrested. Like it's gonna get them out some type of way. I'm just gonna. Oh, he think I'm black? Okay, I'm gonna be black now. Type deal. I know that's in some of the scenarios because I've seen it like, baby girl, I know you don't act like that on the day to day. You don't talk like that on the day to day.
But sometimes things get snapped like that. Cause like a couple weeks ago, this guy called on the phone and he was trying to scam. He was trying to scam us to send him a gift card saying that we had won the lottery and a free car. So the guy calls first time and we call him out like, hey, you scammed us. He calls back the second time. He calls me a bitch and I just get triggered and I just see black. So based on what mom told me, she was like, I have never seen you go there, but you went there.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just get like really triggered to be aggressive and to fight hard, to push back. Because I can only imagine being attacked by a man and then a white man, and you don't really know.
Not all of them are white. Not all of them are white.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was more. I'm gonna take the color away. I think it's more the fact that they're in a uniform. They're associated with police.
They're a cop.
Authority.
They're a cop.
Right.
Yeah, they're a cop. Yeah.
And so we don't have the best relationship with police.
No, never had.
Our communities, black or white.
Yeah, we're the reason why they exist.
Yeah.
Honestly, that stereotype is the reason why they exist. But you know what's funny though? I just got reminded. I had one of my bosses at work. This is during the BLM marches last month.
Mm.
So she was like this white lady, grew up here in Indiana. Kind of looked like Tom Petty a little bit. Could pass for Tom Petty's sister. Anyway,
Tom Petty.
She was like, yeah. You know who Tom Petty is?
Yes, I do. But that's like,
Okay.
is he okay? Anyway, moving on.
So so she's like, oh, so I mean, why are they so upset with cops? I said, well, because these cops, they harass people and stuff like that. She said, well, they got black cops too. I was like, okay, look, baby girl, when we say a white cop, that is the ultimate level. Okay, that's boss level. We're not
Right.
saying that all cops treat us fairly, whether they're black or not. They're still cops. She's like, well, I don't understand. I said, okay, look at this. Say, say, I said, you're a good Christian woman, right? She said, yeah. I said, so you go to your Jewish church. She said, okay. So when you go to a Jewish church, are you going to a Jewish church to make change? Or do you think you can make change? Or are you going to a Jewish church because you want to be indoctrinated in Judaism? She said, well, if I go to Jewish church, is to be, indoctrinated into Judaism. I said, okay. Says the same thing with being a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys go in and they are told that, we don't see color. It's a lie. These are practices and games that these guys have used many a years.
It goes
So
back
they
to
know,
it goes all the way back to Jim Crow era.
yeah,
That's where
yeah,
it goes back to.
yeah. When you take a slave and say, hey, your job, I want you to be over all these other black folks. That's your job. Your job is to keep them in
Overseer.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
And
heard some people refer to black cops as a modern day's time version of the overseer on the
yeah, I mean,
plantation. I think
but
it's
they're
a bit
not.
extreme because I think that's a bit too broad to put it under, but
Yeah.
I
I
can
mean, they're not
understand
that
why some
anymore.
people go there.
They're not that anymore, really. I mean, but when
But
Granddad was a cop, he was, because this is the '70s, and the only neighborhoods he could patrol was black
yeah,
neighborhoods.
right. It was different back then.
Well,
A
yeah.
little bit in terms of, and then also too, you knew the cops that patrol because I listened to people that grew up.
Oh yeah. Granddad lived in Little Rock.
No, I'm not talking
Remember,
about him.
Granddad.
Then. I'm not talking about
Oh,
him specifically,
oh,
but some people have said that there's this disconnection between
yeah.
being an officer as being friendly. I see an officer, I don't get friendly vibes.
No, I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool with everybody. I don't want no trouble for nothing. If I want trouble, I'll make trouble. But most of the time, I don't. I ain't trying to, bust straight. If I see a cop, I'm like, what's up? And, generally, most times they friendly, whatever. Um, I'm not saying
No,
all cops. I'm not saying that all cops are bad cops, but what I'm saying that all cops are complacent
I think
because
also too it has to do with I live in the South and you don't live in the South. And I will say in certain neighborhoods,
I grew up in the South.
yeah, but I'm saying your experiences are a little different from day to day
No,
from
what I'm what
mine.
I'm what I'm saying is that I understand the game, right? I understand the game, so I'm trying to diffuse any type of situation that
Right, I
might
get
pop
that.
off or misunderstanding later on down the road.
Yeah, I get that. It's like
It's
I'm friendly. I'm
psychology.
the friendly black dude. Hi. Don't
Yeah,
shoot
you
me.
got it. You got it.
Hi.
So if
You
somebody
get
says,
like name get remember my face.
yeah. So if somebody says, hey, that big black man over there. So when I turn around, I see the cop. Say, hey, what's going on, man?
I'm like, oh, that's Mark.
Yeah, that's that dude. I talked to him earlier today.
But
So
see, I
that's
think
what
you
that is.
you hit the nail on the head in terms of what needs to happen. There needs to be a better recognition. You people need to like know the area. Like cops need to know the people that are in the community that they are patrolling.
Well, that was a big push in the early 2000s.
And they need to just stop. Honestly, you know what? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. They need to stop patrolling in neighborhoods. I see it all the time where I live
They over
because I
patrol.
live
Yeah,
in a black neighborhood and you see them. I mean, they let their presence be known. I go over
yeah.
to the predominantly white neighborhood where, I
You ain't
was
gonna see one.
working. You don't see them like that. But when you do
No.
see them, they make sure that their presence is known. They want to make
Yeah.
sure that, like, I see you.
Yeah. Generally in the white neighborhoods, they're like at the front of the neighborhood. They might just drive through or whatever. They're not stopping and parking. They'll park across the street, stuff like that. But in black neighborhoods,
They're not
they
looking for trouble. I
they
feel like in black neighborhoods, they're like trying to
they're looking
find
for it.
something. They're really trying to find something
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
into.
So the perception is that black neighborhoods there's always some crime going on in black neighborhoods. There's always some crime going on
That's on
in
both
white
sides.
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on white neighborhoods.
You're gonna find if
You
you
can't
go
tell me.
looking for it, you're gonna find something,
Yeah,
regardless of race. Yeah.
yeah. If you sit there long enough, you'll come across something, no matter where you are. I mean, but that's the perception. They're
Yeah.
like, well, these poor people. So poor people like crime. Well, if this is a poor neighborhood, do you actually think poor people are just gonna stay in the neighborhood just to do crime? There's no need to rob somebody who's poor.
I know.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
know. It's like there's no one there to
Now,
rob. No one has
now,
anything that
now, I'm not saying that criminals are all smart. What I'm saying is that a smart criminal knows, well, I'm not gonna rob my neighbor because he ain't got no money either. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going down the street.
it's like you don't poop where you live.
Huh?
You don't poop where you live
Yeah,
as well.
exactly, exactly. But that just makes sense to me. I don't understand. But that feeds all into the narrative. That feeds all into the narrative, and it what it feels like. It feels like these neighborhoods are basically like prisons, and they're the prison guards. They just have cars, and they're not there to help you. They're there to keep you in,
Mm.
and that's it. They're not there to help.
Nope,
They're not there to help
I don't
because
people
I don't see them getting out the car talking to everybody, see how everybody's doing. Hey, Mrs. Samantha, how you doing? How's your boy doing? Yeah, blah blah blah. I don't see none of that. All I see is cars outside, rolling around the neighborhood, looking for trouble.
yeah.
Period. That is it.
And
They're
that's
not trying. They,
sad. I think
they're
that's
not
the
trying to.
saddest
They're not.
thing though.
Yeah, they're not trying to become part of the community. I know, like in Little Rock, they started these neighborhood police centers, right? These are like old houses they converted, old businesses they converted into a little makeshift police station to where people can come and talk to the police. So the police becomes part of the community. The problem is that people are not going to come to the police just to talk.
No,
The police,
for what?
the police need to go to the people. That's what
Yeah,
they need to do.
they
That's what
have
they need to
it.
do.
They have it
When the
all
police,
wrong.
yeah, like when the police sees some family at their barbecue and something like that, hey man, what's going on? I'm listening good, man. Mom, I get a rib, hey, my name is so and so, and guys need anything.
Right.
Don't even ask nobody's name. Just be like, my name is so and so, man. You need anything, man? You just give me a call, bro. You know, and just go about your day. That's all you got to do. Somebody walking their dog. Hey man, that's a nice looking dog, man. Hey, you need something, man? Just give me a holler. That's all you got to do. You got to build that rapport. I don't see none of that happening. I'm not saying it don't happen, but what I'm saying that I've never seen it happen. And before we get off this subject, I want to say this. I'm tired of people saying, well, there's good cops and there's bad cops. No, there's just cops. Because nobody can tell me that the so-called good cops don't know who the bad cops are. Right? So I'll give you an example. Wherever you work at right now,
Oh no.
You know the people that you don't like, right? Because either they done something shady or you heard stories that they done something shady. Or they just not good people, period. You know those people, right? But you don't run to HR and tell on them, right?
Right.
Same thing with cops. Same thing applies. She can't tell me that these good cops don't know who the bad cops are. They
That's
do.
true. That's true.
They do. It's just being complacent.
And you
And being
usually find
complacent.
out pretty quickly too. People are like, they'll give you like, okay, this is so and so. This is what they're known for. You know, they'll kind of
Yeah.
run down. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always somebody gonna give you the rundown. But you know what? It's part of the system because a system allows these people to exist.
Well,
And you
speaking.
know, and and it's like, and I think there was a show I meant to watch. But evidently there was this like rogue unit inside this police department
Oh,
that
is that the movie
people,
with Sanaa Lathan and the
yeah,
DA comes? It is so good. I
is it?
can't
I need to
remember the
watch it.
name of it. It's
I need to
really
watch it.
good. Me and mom
But
watched it during
yeah,
quarantine. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like these people keep going and telling management, hey, this is what's happening. These dudes up to no good, and these dudes keep getting fired. They find the people who are telling on the balance. So now there's some gigantic lawsuit against the department. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. I know one of the ex cops. I think he said that they're not going to settle. This is going to court because they don't
Mm.
want everybody to hear it. Now I know that some of those ex cops have basically left the state. They don't live in the state anymore because they fear that they're going to get killed. And I mean, I believe it. I'd be scared too. I mean, it's hard to cover all bases when you got a whole department that might be gunning for you.
Yeah. Oh, the name of the show is Shots Fired.
Yeah.
It's really good. I really do recommend that right there will explain a lot of what we have talked about.
Hmm.
I, and I hope, I really do hope, but I doubt it. But I hope that there's no truth to, I hope that it's an extreme telling in terms of the police involvement because I don't want to give away the show, but the corruption
It's in
and
every department. Hey,
the
look,
thing.
every company out there, every
Oh
establishment,
yeah, some of them do.
everything.
It's the
I don't care.
corruption, and then it
I
was
don't care.
how they used black people for sport and entertainment purposes.
Oh, they do that on in public.
So
That don't
that
happen
was a
behind closed
little
doors.
hard. That was really hard
That
to watch, but in
that
some
happens
ways,
in
I'm sure
public.
some people can relate to it.
Yeah.
All
Shut up
right,
and dribble.
so we're gonna move
Shut up.
on.
Shut up and dribble.
We're gonna move on. So, with it being Black History Month, we thought for the very short remainder of the episodes we have for this month that will spotlight little known black being black while being black. I don't know.
All
I
right.
got to work on the segment
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
You're
That was a
like,
lot of
what
black.
is that?
That was a lot of black.
Just happen to be black while living while black, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause I don't want to. I just hate to use the little known Black history facts. Like,
No, I mean it's true. I
like I don't
mean,
want to talk about like you won't hear during this segment who invented. Like we won't talk about inventors and stuff like that. I feel like Google it. I want to get real about some truths and facts. Do you want me to share mine first, or do you want to go first?
no, you can go ahead.
All right.
Mine's a little unorthodox, but it needs to be said. Go ahead.
All right. So my fact is I was doing some research and it's interesting that we talked about this because it kind of aligns with what we're talking about. Um, and so, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, this was written up about 2 years ago. It says 1 in 3 Black men can expect to go to prison in their lifetime. Individuals of color have a disproportionate number of encounters with law enforcement, indicating that racial profiling continues to be a problem. And then a report by the Department of Justice found that Blacks and Hispanics were approximately 3 times more likely to be searched during a traffic stop than white motorists. And African Americans are twice as likely to be arrested and almost 4 times as likely to experience the use of force during encounters with the police. So I want to share a little story. I was having a conversation with one of my white friends, Donna, that I mentioned that will beat you down if you mess with me. She was sharing this story, this lovely story about how her and her friends were going on a trip, and this wonderful police officer pulls them over, and he's like very concerned about the fact that they have a flat tire. He helps the guy out. Da 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 da. I'm just sitting there looking like, oh, and she said something like, police officers they're just always so helpful. And I was like, no, that hasn't been my experience. And she like her eyes was just like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's like, no. I said, every time that I have been pulled over by a police officer, like I have been pulled over a ridiculous number of times as a courtesy reminder that my car tag is expiring at the end of the month. And I'm like, I know when my birthday is.
Right.
So
hold on a second. What?
What was I saying? It completely got off track. So I was telling her how before we were so rudely interrupted by your need to be a parent. So rude.
Sorry.
How dare you have to parent in the middle of podcasting? Yeah, I really did forget my train of thought. So I was just like, no, that's not been in my. Oh, I was sharing about how I have been pulled over several times with the courtesy reminder about my car tag. Pulled over because this one was weird. I didn't turn my indicator. This happened to mom too. I didn't turn my indicator light on soon enough. And I was like, when would it have been appropriate?
Yeah. I mean, there is a law in there. You're supposed to.
When? I had it on like way back there.
Nobody, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like.
I had it on. It wasn't like I turned without turning it.
Because then, even if you had it on for a long period of time, say, well, you had it on for a long period of time, so nobody knew you were turning over and you was holding up traffic. I mean, it's all a gray area. It's all a gray area. It's just one of those things.
And it's just, so that has been my experience. And so I've never have had a good experience with a police officer pulling me over and be like, hey, little lady. Well, that was probably a little, I didn't mean to say that. But like, I've never had anyone pull me over out of courtesy, like, hey, you have a flat tire. Let me help you with that. If that was to happen based on my experience, I would be like, I'm good and lock my doors. Because I wouldn't trust that. I'd be like, is he trying to kidnap me?
Yeah, I've never been pulled over by a helpful police officer.
Yes.
I mean, I would say the last.
Like, helpful and police officer just doesn't seem to go.
Well, the last few times I was pulled over was for the tag thing. And
what was the tag thing? Over a courtesy reminder?
Yeah, it's about to expire, or it has expired.
Oh, Mark.
But the thing is, like, I know I already paid for my tag because they send it in the mail.
Oh yeah. I've had that happen too, where I didn't get my tag in time.
So I'm like, it's not in the system. It should be in the system. I can't help it that I can't go to the BMV and get this stuff because they made it like you can go to I think you can go to a kiosk now too, I think. But they used to generally send all that stuff by mail, so you just pay online and it's sent by mail. So I was like, so it's not flagging in the system. I didn't see it. Like, come on, man. Come on. But I always keep my receipt with me. I print it
Right.
out or whatever. I always keep my receipt with me just in case of that. But they weren't mad or angry or looking suspicious. They seemed pretty helpful. They didn't look suspicious. That was my last two times. Now, before those two times, uh-uh, it's always been rough. I mean, I had a cop one time pull me over and ask me, "Do I know anybody who killed somebody?"
What?
Or yeah, I was like, "No." He said, "Do you know anybody who sells drugs?" I was like, "No." He said, "I don't believe." He
If
said, "I
you
don't."
did, would you tell them?
He said, "I don't believe you."
Wow.
He's like, "I don't believe you." I was like, "Dang." And this is when I was younger. This is like when I was in my 20s. So I was like, "Dang." I mean, like, did you just say that, dude? Like, I don't believe you. But I was like, man, I'm gonna go to jail. I mean,
Wow.
I remember one time I was riding with somebody. He got pulled over. I was in the back seat. Right, it was a car full of black folks. I mean, there was probably 5, 6 guys in this car, right? And I was sitting in the back seat. Everybody in that car went to jail for a traffic ticket. Everybody.
See, that's it's not funny. It
Because
really, I mean,
I
you
know,
have to
well,
laugh because it's so
I can laugh
ridiculous.
now. Yeah, I can laugh now because it was so absurd. But
Yeah, when you think
how are
about
you gonna give a speeding ticket to a man sitting in the back seat of a car
that makes no
who is not
sense.
driving?
No, that's because
You know,
they heard you say, "Man, go faster, speed up. I want to go
man,
faster."
I tell you what. I mean, and that was that was in Arkansas. That
Oh,
one was Arkansas.
Arkansas is a whole another ball game.
Yeah, Georgia and Tennessee, those are different animals.
Yeah,
Georgia,
especially
Tennessee,
depending on what
Alabama.
area. Yeah.
Yeah, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. Man, don't get caught on them country roads. Don't
Nope.
do it. Don't do it.
Is right about that.
Because I mean, I've been pulled over in Tennessee one time. I was where was
Tennessee's
I going?
scary.
I think I was going to visit grandma or something like that. And I was driving through this little town in Tennessee, and it was probably maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night, so it was dark.
Oh, you was
And
driving
going the
by
speed
black
limit,
in the dark.
yeah, going the speed limit. And I think he really just pulled me over because it was a small town. He's like, yeah, they nobody that's not anybody who lives in this town, right? So
Right.
he got behind me because he knew I was not from the town. Then he found that I was black, right? Pulled me over, had a flashlight all in my face, looking in the car. And, hey, where you going? Where you from? I was like, I was gonna go see my grandma in Arkansas. Well, why are you out this late at night? Because I live in a different state, and Tennessee is in between me and my grandma, so I'm going to go see my grandma. But you shouldn't be out here speeding around like that. I was like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was speeding. And he was like, you talking back to me? I was like, no, no, sir, I'm not talking back to you.
Mm.
Not at all. I'm just trying to get someone to go see my grandma. So he said, well, you hold tight. I'll be right back. And I was like, ah. And man, I sat there for a half an hour.
That's the worst when they keep
Half
you
an hour.
hostage like that. Yeah. Just
A
because
half
you
an
could.
hour, right? And I think that, and I think he was hoping that I would run, you know? So I sat there, and he said, well, you get straight out of my town. I don't want to see you here again. Okay, I'm out. But I mean, I've had, I've had some stupid stuff happen to me. So some of it I brought upon myself. I'm not gonna lie, speeding
Yeah.
or something. But I've had some crazy stuff happen to me.
Do
You
you
know,
remember that time when we were up there and we had the rental car and we got pulled over? It was you, me, mom, and then you and Leo were in the back seat. and I was going faster than the speed limit because I wasn't familiar. Like, it was a road where I never saw the speed limit sign. And so I was like, okay, maybe it's 45. And I think it ended up being like 25 or something.
Yeah.
And so he pulls us over and everyone's just like, and then Lori calls. You remember that?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, put the phone down, hang up the phone. Everyone's like, put the phone down. But the guy was super friendly. He was like, hey, how you doing today? And I was like, fine.
Yeah.
He was like, well, do you know you're speeding? I was like, oh, I'm from out of town, rental car, don't really know what the speed limit is. I was like, what is the speed limit? Because I'm trying to be like nice and friendly. I was like, what is the speed limit? Because I never saw a speed limit. So he was super friendly, but everyone just like tensed up. Leo, I think probably still is suffering from PTSD from that experience because he was in the back seat like, oh, like ready to start rocking. I was like, that is so sad.
Yeah, I know. It's a whole different thing. I mean, like the way that a police officer interacts with me is different than he would act with my neighbor. I mean, my neighbor probably could call him all kind of names, rip up the ticket, throw it at him, just talk crazy to him, speed off, just all kind of stuff, you know.
Get out the car, bang on the police car. Yeah.
Yeah.
They get
put
they
the finger all in their face.
And,
they can get away with a lot more. You know.
So what is your Black History fact? Or what do you want?
Well, like I said, mine's a little unconventional.
Okay.
And I know you've heard me say this before, but I think it's really important for people to understand this.
No, this could go to the left.
It's not that bad.
Huh?
Okay. It's not. So I was talking with one of my neighbors one time.
Oh no.
And he was like, you know, why don't African Americans celebrate their heritage? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, people from Mexico, they celebrate their heritage, and people from Puerto Rico, they celebrate their heritage, and people from Russia, they celebrate their heritage. So why don't African Americans do that? And I paused and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, duh. I was like, dude, I said, we do it every day. Every single day. And he was like, well, I've never seen you do it. I said, you do. I said, and you celebrate it too. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, man, the African American heritage is American culture.
Yeah.
This so-called pop culture that you call it, it's all African American, baby. We say what's hot and what's not. Yes. So, I mean, I was listening to some country music. I was like, is this a country song or is this a rap song? I couldn't.
You were confused.
I'm like, what's going on with it?
Your ears were confused.
I was like, why is it hitting so hard? I don't understand this.
Oh, a country song?
I'm confused, Jesus. I'm confused, Jesus. Come help me. I couldn't figure it out. It was banging. I was like, man, this song kind of banging, man. But anyway, I mean, back to what I was talking about, though. But American history is African American history, pop culture, all that stuff. So down to what kind of food you like, the music you listen to, the clothes you buy, what you read, the sports you watch, the books you read, the movies you watch, the TV shows you watch, any electronics that you get, the way things just are designed, the color of things, you name it, everything, all that stuff is based on us. It's not hot until we say it's hot. It's not hot until we say it's hot. I mean, Louis Vuitton would not be Louis Vuitton if it wasn't for Don. The one for Don up in New York saying, hey, I'm gonna make some clothes for us out of this material, out of this pattern. Did it with that, did it with Gucci. He made it hot. The black folks like, yeah, I can get some of that. I can use that. The Mercedes. I don't think they've been nowhere near where they are now. The black folks didn't like it. There's plenty of other cars.
Or Lexus.
Or Lexus.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of other cars that were around that price range that you can buy. Black folks don't buy it.
They don't.
They don't buy it. That's the reason why the Chrysler 300 was like the shit.
in more ways than one.
Like, yeah, it was like the car. But there was other cars out there that were comparable to it. Now there are some cars where we like, like the Dodge Chargers and stuff like that. Yeah, we kind of dip our toe in it, but we ain't really all about that, really. So that car's kind of it's doing all right. The BMW is still going strong. Mercedes still going strong. Honda forever.
Yeah.
Honda forever.
I know.
But we make everything hot. We always do. We drive the direction of everything. Everything what you call American culture, all that is basically done by black folks. Who you think invented apple pie?
Mammy.
Who you think invented cherry pie?
Mammy.
Who you think invented fried chicken?
Mammy.
So you got all this stuff. Because if you
or
work
maybe
for us,
the Native Americans might have done the pies. But I get your point.
they boil everything. Up to that point, they boiled everything. They boiled everything. They boiled everything.
Yeah, leave it to us to put it in some crust.
Yeah, So we've always made everything hot. So American culture is black culture. So whether you like it or not, you celebrate black culture every time you put on them Jordans, every time you put on that hoodie, anytime you put on those Beats by Dre, every time you put on some Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren wasn't hot until,
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, Lauren wasn't hot until black folks like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this, because you're like, I want to look like them guys in the country club. People in the country club weren't wearing no Ralph Lauren. They were wearing, you know what they were pushing? They were pushing Brooks Brothers. That's what they were pushing, Brooks Brothers.
Should I know that?
So black folks were like, I'm pushing that Ralph Lauren. So Lauren took off, got to the point where the rich folks were like, hey man, I'm gonna have to check out that Ralph Lauren. And that's why Brooks Brothers, they on the out. I mean,
I know because you said them. I'm like, who is this?
Yeah, because rich folks stopped buying it because they can buy a Ralph Lauren, and the Ralph Lauren already knew the game. And now, I remember Ralph Lauren wasn't that expensive. Now it's expensive as hell.
I know. A T-shirt, just a T-shirt, not even the polo with the buttons, just a pullover T-shirt is $80.
Yep. I'm not talking about the outlet.
No.
I'm talking about the outlet. And he even got gangster with the outlet. The outlet, I remember when the outlet first started, it was supposed to be the clothes that didn't sell. So you were getting stuff like, stuff you see in the magazine. He done switched it up. And he changed the outlet game forever. So now the stuff at the outlet is made for the outlet.
Yeah.
So the stuff that you see in the magazines and stuff, you're not going to see that in the outlet. Ever.
Smart.
Never, ever.
Where does this stuff go? To kids and people in Africa and India?
No, generally it'll go to stores like I can't remember the parent company, but like TJ Maxx, Marshall, stuff like that.
Okay. With that,
kind of gets filtered out. But it never goes to the outlet because the outlet, they have their own style clothes.
Yeah.
So So for the real low head, which what they call people who wear, a lot of Ralph Lauren, big Ralph Lauren fans, called low heads. For a real low head, they can spot. Like, oh, you got that from the outlet. They really don't consider that real. There might be a couple of pieces that you can get at the outlet that be like, okay, that's kind of tight. I remember that they had a varsity sweater. I was like, man, that's banging right there. I said, okay, what you say? That's banging. And I know a lot of people were like, yeah, we got to get that sweater. That sweater's kind of tight. But I mean, even the colors that they use. I mean,
I don't particularly
you can
Ralph
yeah, you can tell. Yeah. And now, if you're a low head, you're all about that purple label now. But
See, I
like
don't
I said,
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like I said, black folks, man, they push that narrative, whether you like it or not. The reason why things are designed. I mean, have you ever seen a car like, damn, that car looks tight? Probably because it was designed by a black man.
Mm.
You like that new Corvette?
Who are you talking to? You forget who you're talking to.
New Corvette was designed by.
I'm looking at a Tesla, okay, or a Jeep.
The new Corvette was designed by a dude from I think they stole it from Ferrari. But the one before that, the two before that, was designed by a black dude. Put Corvette back on the map. Corvettes were ugly. I don't care what anybody say. They were ugly.
Yeah.
It was for a long time. For a long time.
Which is why I wasn't looking at Corvettes, because it's just like,
Yeah, they were just like, they look like a big old shoe. Running around looking like Stuart Little in a big old shoe. Say, man, he pushing them loafers, man.
Goodness. All right. Well, thanks for the lesson in blackness.
Know it. Every day, all day. All you got to do, or anybody got to do, is ask. That's what I tell people all the time. I got to do is ask. I'll tell you.
That's true. That's very true. Well, good discussion today, Mark.
Thank you. Oh, I think next week, maybe next week we might have a special guest. How about that? Maybe next week.
Ooh.
Maybe next week.
Fun times. Fun times.
So let me ask you, do you want a professional athlete?
No.
Or do you want an artist?
What kind of artist? Musical artist?
Music artist. Yeah.
I don't care.
Which one do you prefer?
Music. Because, I'm a music head, but I can appreciate, I don't know, I just lack appreciation for sports because the Falcons suck.
Yeah, I don't know. At least the guy who's head coach took him long enough.
I know. We'll see how that goes.
Took him too long. The damage is done.
Yeah.
It's done. So.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Be sure if you want to see the live in-person podcast, head over to our YouTube channel. You can see us live.
Yeah.
See
my beautiful mug.
Yeah. And all
my closet. My closet lighting.
I know, right? We got to work on lighting.
Yeah. I meant to open up the blinds, but
it's fine. That would have been horrible lighting because it would have been coming from behind and not in front. Always light from the front.
Yeah, I only got one little light in there. This is my boom room. For those who don't know.
All right, Mark.
All righty. I'll talk to you later, Coco. And I'll talk to everybody else out there a little later. See y'all next week.
See you next week.